Hey everybody, I am back again doing another installment in the little series I've been doing where I've been trying to cover a different toy line each weekend just for a little bit so you guys can get a better idea of how I accidentally waste my money on the different series I collect. Um, so I thought this time would be as good a time as any to do a Kamen Rider belt. This particular belt comes from the series Kamen Rider Den-O, which is a really fun, wacky series about time-traveling trains and monsters called Imagine that make contracts with people, complete their wishes, and then run off into the past, making all sorts of destruction for the Kamen Riders to deal with. Fortunately for these Kamen Riders, not all the Imagines are bad, and some of them actually make contracts with the Kamen Riders themselves and give those Kamen Riders a bit more power. So what we have here is the Zeronos belt. And the fact that I just spent the last minute or so talking about Den-O should tell you that this is not the belt of the main character. Instead, this is the belt that belongs to Sakura Yuto, the secondary Kamen Rider. And secondary riders, their belts are a lot less sophisticated. They're a lot less prominent in the show. Not necessarily less powerful, but they're just not as closely involved in the plot. However, Sakura Yuto is actually the main character's sister's fiance, and I know that's confusing. Um, but every single time that he uses one of these to transform, and this is the Zeronos card, it's hard plastic, um, he ends up actually erasing people's memories and eventually the existence of his future or present self, depending on how you look at it, which leads to very awkward love triangles such as these. Let me see if I can get that in that frame. Yeah, I won't get into that. It's awkward too. Um, so we're not actually here to talk about weird, awkward love triangles. Still a better love story than Twilight, I may add. But we're here to talk about the belt. So let's turn it on. And I put fresh batteries in this thing. That's very nice loud sound, but he's not transformed right now. That's where this comes in. The Zeronos card has these groove marks in it, and that's actually going to be what works the gimmick on the belt. When I slide the card through the belt, it's going to turn this thing, which is reminiscent of a train turntable. It takes me back to my days of buying, or my parents buying for me because I was way too young, Thomas the Tank Engine stuff, turntables which redirect trains on different tracks, and the belt works the exact same way. So to actually transform, let me get up on my knees here a little bit higher, we're going to want to pull back this lever, and we slide the card through. And this little piece back here catches the card, so I'm going to pull it out. There's actually kind of a nice plastic lip on it, so you can pull it out without too much difficulty. And you may have seen this A here is rather incomplete. It's like a half drawn A, I guess. But when you slide it through, I'm just going to do it one more time. You see now that the A has become a completed shape. And it's a really nice detail, and the sounds are extremely accurate to the transformation. I'll link some videos of the transformations of his different forms so you guys can compare it. But for how simple the bell is, it's really nice that those sounds are so accurate and so loud and so clear. But like I mentioned, some Imagine possess Kamen Riders in the show, and that's true for Zeronos. In the show, his Imagine, Deneb, possesses him and transforms him into the Vega form. And so to do that, we do the exact same thing, except now we're going to use this side of the card. Again, nice, big, loud, clear sounds. Lights obviously flashing up in sync with the sounds, and it's a very nice touch, especially since when you're wearing it and you look down, you're not able to actually see this thing in motion, so you have to rely on this to kind of get an effect of things going on. Once again, the half-completed V-shape is now a completed V-shape. And that's pretty much it for this belt. Again, it's one of the simpler ones, so I thought it would be good for a first review of a Kamen Rider belt. I have the Force belt, which is a lot larger, a lot more complex. Sorry, their new Den-O. But, you know, it's a good belt for what it is. It's very simple. There's one last thing it can do. I know you guys just wet yourself because that was a terrifying battle cry. Um, it's just meaning that he's ready for his final attack, and he can do that whenever. But it's kind of just tapers off into like this, I don't know, it's kind of a letdown sound. It's like he's getting all ready to do something awesome, but then the sound for that never comes. But how would I recommend this belt? Obviously, if you don't care for Kamen Rider, this probably has no appeal to you, and I thank you if you've actually made it this far into watching this video. But if you're into Kamen Rider, this belt is dirt cheap. Most Kamen Rider belts cost around $80 or so, and that's when they're first getting released and not aftermarket prices, and some of those can get crazy. I got this belt for it. This is an older belt too. Den-O's was 2006, I think. It's not the most recent show, so I got this belt for about $40 shipped. And when it came in the mail, I looked on the package, and the shipping cost was around $30. So, you know, I got a pretty good deal on this belt. Again, it's very simple, but that's what you get for a secondary rider belt. And more importantly, I think, than a recommendation on this belt, I think I have to recommend Den-O as a show. I know a lot of you don't watch Kamen Rider. If you like Japanese things, you might want to. It's a really fun show. So take that as what you will. It's a cool toy regardless if you're into Kamen Rider or not. But it obviously appeals more to Kamen Rider fans, and I hope this review has given you a better understanding of why I buy Kamen Rider belts, and also a little bit into what Kamen Rider is about. So thank you for watching.